Resident Evil has recently come out and it's been a huge success, and it's got giant tall lady vampires with giant boobies and people all over it, and for the most part people have been enjoying the experience. But what you may not be aware of currently is Capcom have got themselves into a little bit of hot water over asset theft. So this comes in two parts, and I'll talk about the first part before we get into the actual main story because I want to show its relevance, but that's to do with the drama that was surrounding Resident Evil 8. So spoilers ahead, but in the game there is a section where you fight enemies which are part machine. One particular enemy is known as Propeller Head. Now, Propeller Head and some aesthetics surrounding him and just some general looks of the whole area have caused a bit of a stir after someone identified on Reddit that had a rather similar look and feel to that of a film called Frankenstein's Army. So someone reached out to Richard Verhorst, who is responsible for the design of Frankenstein's Army. And when he saw it, he basically said, "Yep, this is a carbon copy of my designs." So people have reached out to Capcom, and currently they are sitting silently, nothing has been said, but by the same page, no legal course has actually been taken for this instance. Where it has really hit the fan though is to do with Resident Evil 4 and Devil May Cry. And the reason I wanted to highlight the first instance is because A, it comes into the court case here, and B, this isn't the first instance that it's actually happened. So where does this all begin? It all begins with a lady called Judy Juracek, and she is the author of a book called Surfaces. Now in Surfaces there are 1,200 photos of various textures, and this is meant to be used as a reference point for artists and creators if they want to get ideas on textures and how to reproduce them in their content. With this book also comes with a CD with said images on them if people wish to access them. However, if you want to get a license to use one of these in an asset, then you have to contact Judy directly, where you will get permission. Now, basically in layman's terms, in development, when you have a texture, you use it, you manipulate it, you edit to a point that it's like usually unrecognizable, and you apply it to different surfaces and textures, and you use it to create basically a feel that the object you're looking at is made of the type of material that you want it to be. And this can range from everything from broken glass, wood, stone, marble, you name it. So what Judy has accused Capcom of is stealing 80 photographs and used them in various different scenarios inside of Resident Evil 4 and Capcom. And to do this, there is a pretty heavy document that shows off various reference points, and it's 100 pages long. And if you're looking for examples, I think one of the best ones and easiest to do is the Resident Evil 4. So if you have a look at the logo at the top of the 4 where it kind of points towards the sky, you'll notice that there's like a scratch kind of displaced glass pattern. Now Judy has accused Capcom of stealing this from a photo that she took in Italy of a cracked window. She's basically said and pointed out with various documents that this crack is so specific and so unique, it is almost impossible that Capcom came along and, created something that was identical. So instead, they have stolen it. And there's tons more examples. There's a great one of like a corrupted, corroded silver metal being used on a picture frame and other bits and pieces. There's also a marble lion head that was used within Devil May Cry. So if you're wondering, surely she did more than just look at textures and say, oh yeah, these are very similar to mine, I think you've stolen them, then you be exactly right. And this is where things get really, really interesting. So if you don't know, back in 2020 of November, there was a huge data leak. Someone hacked into Capcom and threatened to do, the generic kind of hacky things, saying that we're going to lease the source code of Resident Evil Village. We're going to, shareholder information, staff information. But what's interesting about it is there was also a list of high resolution files. And it's the name of the files that has everyone a bit curious, because these file names are also identical to those on the Surfaces CD-ROM, which suggests they are indeed the same and that they had been pulled off. And the file name in question was ME009, for example. So as you can see, there's a lot of damning evidence going towards this. And she's actually looking for $12 million in damages for copyright infringement. And these range because the textures used are being charged $2,500 to $2,500 a picture. Now, I'm no legal expert and I don't know if the evidence that has been presented is going to be enough. There currently has been no kind of response from Capcom, from any community managers, etc. So we are a little bit in the dark, but I did think it was very, very interesting. It is my current understanding that this actually hasn't gone to court yet, but it has been filed. So when I know more, or if there's a date or an outcome, I will update you. But let me know your thoughts and feelings on this. I thought it was a very interesting story. Do you feel that they're in the right or in the wrong, or is this standard practice within kind of the development industry and people just, most of the time expect to get away with it? I have honestly no idea how it works, but I hope everyone is safe and well. Look after yourselves. I'll be back with more news in the week, and thanks for listening.